Actually, from Mr. Smith's answer, I'd say we're not that far apart. If you think about it, if we're going to get this economy moving forward again, we need to concentrate our energies on the small businesses of America, because 2 out of every 3 jobs that are created in this country are created by small businesses. Not by the mega corporations, but by small businesses. And those jobs are the ones that you and I see every day. We don't see the corporate players on Wall Street. We see the folks that are on Main Street. And so guess what? That has been the focus of this Congress. That economic recovery bill that so many people trash all the time, guess what? Its focus was on the middle class. The tax cuts that were in that bill weren't for the mega corporations. It wasn't for the wealthiest who benefited from the Bush tax cut. It went to the 95% of Americans who were below the wealthy that got the Bush tax cuts. And that's why today, and this is a fact, and you could check it, today Americans generally are paying less taxes today in their tax rates than they have in 60 years. And certainly before, during any of the 8 years of the Bush administration. Folks may laugh, but that's the fact. And they laugh at facts, but those are the facts. Now what we should do is continue in helping the small business community. That's why in this past Congress, you won't know it, but it's a fact, 9 separate times this Congress passed legislation to cut taxes for small businesses. Not big businesses, not the big banks, not the mega corporations, for small businesses. I'm sorry, not 9 times. 16 times we voted for that. Now, 15 of those 16 times, we got opposition from the Republicans in the Congress who say that they are for small businesses as well. But what we've done is everything possible to focus our energy on the middle class. Because the economy will get going not if the rich have more money to invest. The economy will get going if the middle class can do the things it always does, and that is get its kids ready for college, be able to replace the broken clothes washer that they don't have the money to repair right now, to buy the clothes that will keep someone in manufacturing and in retail going because we've gone out and bought again. But if the middle class is fretting that it can't make its mortgage payment, it won't go out and consume productively the way we need it to. And so that's why the tax cuts that we have provided in the last 2 years have been focused on the middle class. What else have we done for the small business community? Well, because the Bush TARP program, the bailout of the large banks, went to the large banks, we said it didn't work. So what did we do? We put a $30 billion, not a $700 billion program, a $30 billion program, which was a loan. That means it has to be repaid, but it's to the community banks, not the big banks. The community banks are going to get $30 billion lent to them. They have to pay it back. How does it work? If that community bank then lends it to a small business or to an individual trying to buy a home, then the rate, its interest rate to the federal government that community bank pays is low. If they just hold on to the money and hoard it, they pay a higher interest rate to the taxpayer for having gotten the money from the federal government. So they have an incentive to lend it to small businesses in the community or to people who are trying to buy a home. That $30 billion will be leveraged by those community banks into $300 billion. And so we have focused on trying to help small businesses because that's how we will get this economy going once more. I will mention one last thing, and Steve sort of got to this. We need to stop having a government policy at the federal level that encourages those corporations, big corporations, to send jobs overseas. We have tax breaks today that go to companies that actually create a job, not in America, but overseas. And so what we're trying to do is say, you can go ahead and create a job overseas, but the taxpayer shouldn't give you money for having done that. We should in fact give you money if the job you create is in the US. Go ahead and create them anywhere you want. But if you create one here, you'll get a little bit of a break from all of us for having helped someone become employed here in the US. And so if we do that, we can get back on track. But it's a steep climb because when you lose 8 million jobs in a recession, you have essentially a lost decade. The first decade of the 21st century was lost. Now we have to recover, and it's going to take some time, but we're getting there. Thank you. Okay, I think I'm next, and the next question is, what can be done to address the immigration situation? Those of you who have attended my coffees will know that I often get asked about this. To me, it's pretty simple. It's a solution that has to be tough, smart, but fair. Tough means what? That means we have to be as aggressive as we can be with the professional force at the border. Not just the southern border, but at the northern border, which is very porous as well. At our ports of entry, that means the airports and the seaports, and we have to be tough. Hire the folks, and that's why this Obama administration has actually doubled the size of the Border Patrol from what it was when President Bush took office. And that's why you have fewer people trying to cross the border today than ever before, and that's why you have the largest number of people who have been deported from this country, 400,000 at the end of this year, to almost double what was done under the Bush administration. But that's not going to be enough. So being tough by itself won't be enough. You also have to be aggressive at the workplace, because really what's drawing folks in is the opportunity to take a job. And we have to make sure we really descend with a sledgehammer on employers who are willing to violate the law aggressively and extensively. Because there are folks who are out there essentially recruiting people to import in folks to work in this country. And that we have to stop. And if we get aggressive, not just at the border, but at the workplace, I believe that you kill the magnet that really has people wanting to come into this country. Then what else do you do? Okay, you have to be fair. At the same time that we want to get aggressive to try to stop the spigot, you have to be fair. There are 10, 11, 12 million people in this country living in the shadows. How do you have that many people living in this country without the right to be here, unless we have essentially danced with them in this tangle called broken immigration laws for a long time? Some of them have been here forever. They have businesses. They have kids. I can tell you any number of families that have come to me where their children are valedictorians in their high school. We have to figure out, in this process, as we try to be tough but fair, who really should we give an opportunity to stay here? Not become a citizen, but stay here. And then show us if you have an opportunity to gain your status legally. And then after that, you still have to go through the process of showing that whether or not you can, after 5 years, become a citizen. So it's a long process. But who should get to do that? You've got to get them out of the shadows. And then we have to have them all agree to register, compel them to register with the government, with the authorities, so that they have to disclose who they are. And we can do a thorough background check. If you can show that you have no blemish, okay, then show us that you're going to work and not become a public charge. Show us that you're paying taxes. And show us that you'll get in the back of the line of all of us who try to come into this country legally. And if you do that, you don't become a citizen. You then may get your legal status. That doesn't allow you to